Well, um, where to start? Um, I don't know. I'm kind of. What you're looking at is two YouTube videos of my webcomic. Keep sorry, my webcomic Keeping Up with Thursday. It is a comic I made in 2010, and I'm proud of where it went uh, for the last 6 years. Well, up until 2016. It is a Disney and Don Bluth inspired comic with serious themes. At least I tried to work around. It was my first rodeo as a web comic, but that's not an excuse to say, please be gentle. Like that. That's no. I'm aware of its shortcomings. We all have a web comic that we just wanted to start out, and not everyone's first web comic is going to be a home run. If I'm kind of making this video at 1:30 in the morning because it's been kind of well, I wouldn't call it a response video. It's not like the way YouTube has it. It's not like a response video like regarding that. No, it's not. I'm not here to invoke like a drama or a beef or anything. It was in my the mind plays funny things when you're kind of on the lam, when you're kind of depressed. And one thing I always try to avoid is putting, my real name on Google and put like, you suck. It's like I used to do that when I've hit my lowest of lows. I'll put Aaron Moxing sucks or Ari-Dynamic sucks. And you know, it, it led me to a Tumblr post called Goddamn Webcomics. Um, I'm a little not in the best of funks to kind of look at it right now. It was a nice post, by the way. It went into detail about the webcomic. It's not an anti webcomic blog, thank goodness. It's kind of more like just riffing on comics that are still going or lost to time, and it kind of made me nostalgic about what I used to do. Um, and I kind of miss. I actually do kind of miss going back at the web comics. I've been in a bit of a. It's a comic I'm proud of because not only did I make friends through it, people that have been in the web comic scene or the business of it, both professionally or just doing it for fun, and I'm really proud of it. So I kind of hold it close to my heart. It's not unriffable. It's not something that should be dodged. Um, they should dodge criticism. I'm not. I will never see myself as that kind of artist that says, you know what, yeah, please be nice. It was my first time. It was my first rodeo. Yeah, but I am proud of where it got me because, and I tell this story a lot to all my friends and the people I meet, that if it weren't for this comic, it wouldn't have helped me meet a lot of friends, and make a lot of friends. I'm also not the kind of person that demands friendships, um, but I do consider my life kind of, you know, online friends, online fans is not the same as having like a friendly neighbor or people that you know across the street that you can go to barbecues with or go camping with or travel across the road to another state. And so I'm mostly just kind of talking. I'm sleep drunk at the moment, but I am planning on kind of drawing something because I'm not proud of how the last video went, and I'm also not kind of proud of how the recent video will turn out when it goes up, mostly because music and the fan and a lot of other problems. I'll get into that in the next art video. Um, so this is kind of a sneak peek for the next Tuesday's video. I'm going to be working on DJ Axis's video now. Not video, but video and his commission, because he's been waiting a while. I've been meaning to update him on that. But I put this video mostly because it's just like, I'm just kind of in those funks, because it's just been a bit of a wild week, and so is the weekend. I had to look out for a lot of people all week, play mediator and moderator. It takes a toll on you, and it's like then you get called upon again on a Saturday, coupled with a lot of other problems like that I'll also get into in the video. I lost footage for some gaming content and easy anti-cheat on top of GeForce's bug glitch with the new drivers or whatever it is that they do. I can't record VR chat. Before you say anything though, I have OBS installed. My friends Samson and Orcus will walk me through it. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the brightest apple in the bunch when it comes to technical stuff, but I'm open to learning. But this is kind of like an announcement and a bit of event, contemplative thing. But going back to the post, they went into detail about it. They were tough but fair, as it should be. I'm not gonna tell you. Again, it's like I'm not that kind of guy that says like, I should deserve special credit. My mantra with my web comic has always been. My mantra with my web comic has always been, listen to what people say and listen to the feedback, learn, grow, study. It's they said that they would probably get to it in a month, and they'll probably be riffing on it. I'm sure they will be tough but fair. Probably due to get criticized, but I've left the door open to kind of maybe I would like to join in on that. Because it's like I'm aware of its shortcomings. I like to be in on the action and kind of talk about it. But at the same time, it does hold a place in my heart because I've been on an adventure with it. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be doing commissions. And if it weren't for commissions, I wouldn't have met people from across the fandom, webcomic communities, or furry communities and things like that. I've made a lot of friends and social groups in gaming and furry and comics and artwork. Some whose skill even transcends my own. Like there are people that still tell me like, hey, that's it might not be the perfect comic. It's not the best comic, but I like it, and I'm like, hey, I appreciate that, man. Like, in fact, I'll say this: there are people out there in the dark. How do I put this? There are people that are not well beloved in the art community. That my goal was also don't be them. Whether you're an artist that makes a ton of money and has a bajillion followers and tells you or not even tells you, just like is an asshole to the people that follow them. I'm not going to be that guy. Or the people that are notorious for how often they've mistreated people. I could living memes, as you will. If you know who I'm talking about there on Know Your Meme, my goal is to never ever become those people, and I hope I've tried. I made a lot of mistakes. Certainly have my ups and downs, but again, it's not a please be gentle. It's more just I like to be there too. Maybe give some history about it and talk about it with the Tumblr post. I'm not really a Tumblr guy. If we ever do talk about it, I'll just be like, hey, I've tried to get on Tumblr many times to try to promote it, and it's hard. It is hard to promote a webcomic like this because they either classify it as a cartoon, and thus they'll dismiss it like a children's cartoon, and they'll dismiss it without seeing the themes going on in it, or they'll be like, oh no, my Disney childhood is sacred, I'm always going to love Great Mouse Detectives, so it's like, I mean, my webcomic was never there to replace something that was cool. It was just there to be like, I want to tell the story I wanted to tell, and I could go on about the MySpace thing forever, and I would click these videos, but I'm worried that it won't let me and it'll glitch out. But that being said, I'm sleep drunk at 1:30 in the morning. I'm kind of feeling a little low. Everybody's at conventions, Anthrohio, Confuzzled, Anthrocon, or whatever. And you saw the Blue Sky post. It's like, everybody's out at conventions. I'm at home drawing. I'm just stuck at home, sitting on a chair playing video games. But, yeah, I'm kind of just need to get that out there. Because it's like, when it comes to, I never really expected a Tumblr post to be made about my webcomic either without somebody. They seem well versed in it, so that's appreciative at least. But there's always me who's like, hey, I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to get involved and share some fun history tidbits people have met along the way and the journey it was making this comic. Again, it's not unriffable, it's not perfect, and I'm not going to hold it to a high standard where it's untouchable. But it's like I always get kind of squeamish because it's like there are bad eggs out there that will tear you down, and with my mental state, I get melancholy and a bit depressed because I often think about, man, maybe I failed. Maybe I should have just quit. Maybe I should have just stopped. Maybe I should have just said, fuck it. Just throw it all in the trash. Delete it. Don't come back. But I stuck around. After the webcomic ended in 2016, a couple of years passed, and then I met my buddy Zach MFK Attack. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have met Samson, Matt, Max, Vin, CZP, Rocky, Cryptic, Ollie, B-Meister, everybody. It's just like all my gaming crew. Just kind of holds a. I've kind of joked as like this is my Mickey Mouse, like not in a condescending way, like oh, Patrick is Mickey Mouse, he's my golden goose, he'll always be with me. It's just it was more of like I'm proud of him and I'll defend him. I've had hate art of Patrick getting killed and slaughtered for their own amusement, and DeviantArt mods did nothing about it. It's like when somebody draws your character being viciously assaulted, that will eat away at your confidence. That will murder you inside. That will make you want to it'll make you angry, like you want to call the cops or call the person and be like, what the fuck? But, so I'm not used. When it comes to, you know, something that attacks you, uh, it just kind of brings you down. It makes you kind of, not suicidal, just kind of rips at your heartstrings. Like all that effort you did, all the sacrifices you made doing this on an old RGB computer back in 2010. Yeah, and I say RGB computer because it's like the prongs at the back of the PC were broken. We had a hand-me-down PC that my mother got. It was an old PC that we got as a loan, and it wasn't perfect. It was not great, but it worked, and it just that hard effort pulled off. Just and I could go on all day, but I don't want to bore you. It's just like working on that thing on a mouse with a little roller ball, right? And then with a broken prong, and you have to like kind of guess what the RGB colors were like, because red was black, green was yellow, blue was purple, or whatever. And it's like you couldn't tell how to color characters. You had to rely on your friend to tell you what the colors were. And then your uncle calls you up and says, hey, I'll get you a computer, no problem. So we go out and buy a new computer, and then we fix that issue. And then people will be like, hey, I see you got that going here. Here's Photoshop. So they give me Photoshop. And then I was using Flash MX 2004. And then friends come along and they say, hey, we could hook you up with the latest CS 5.5, and so you go from that to that. Then Flash dies, and people try to. I mean, like there are better art programs, of course, but I've always stuck to Flash because I just kind of feel like that's more my thing. It kind of generates that style perfectly, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous about Bryce being humiliated and shredded, so I was just embrace it. The post was from a month ago. I didn't see if there were any follow-up posts. I don't think there were any, but I guess if they see this video, they probably will. But yeah. Also, you probably noticed the tab there at the top. I'm here to support my friend. I want to support my friend Vin Volpus. I will explain that in a follow-up video. But I think what I'm going to do now is just, I think I'm going to do some drawing. I'm going to see if I can record some art videos for you. I will put this one up first, and then DJ X's video will come up next Tuesday, hopefully without the fan, but more importantly, well, hopefully some music that doesn't botch the audio. Yeah, I'm still getting a hold of this. As far as I know, GeForce is working. Before I head off, I might as well just get this out of the way because it's still bugging me because of I may have mentioned it earlier, but GeForce is acting up with VRChat, easy anti-cheat, but it could be a bug too. I think it's more likely a bug than VRChat, but I still kind of think easy anti-cheat is somewhat responsible. I hate to be tinfoil hat time, but it's like I'm still kind of thinking those two are connected. I've heard stories about them being connected. Just EAC blocks GeForce, and that's like, ugh. But I am switching to OBS. Don't worry. Like I haven't forgotten. I'm still gonna use OBS and just gotta figure it out. But but then we got to Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. So here's the thing. So on Friday we were we're doing our usual Five Nights at Freddy's um, recording stream, right? Now I'm used to this when we record. When I hit Alt F9, right, you'll see the little icon at the bottom right, the little green light and the microphone thing. And you'll see it says at the top, it'll be like, oh yeah, you started recording. Here's the thing. So I'm used to it sometimes blanking out. Like, you won't know you're recording until it hides itself sometimes when you record, and you barely notice it's there, right? So we're playing it, and we go on for like, we get up to the laser blast part, and it's me and Faye and Sprite. Legitimate jump scares, some funny sneeze jokes, you know how I am, and it's just like we're goofing off and having a great time. And then we finally, after all the dust has settled, we close out, we say our goodbyes, we do a little VR chat here and there, do a little Mugen. That's another thing coming up, Mugen, and then again, that's related to the top. But we get to the Mugen part, or not. I go and I watch the footage, right, and it's not there. Instead, it's like a recording of after the fact. Yeah, now I remember, it wasn't Mugen, it was Fightcade. I was showing this right at Fightcade. I hit I go there, and it's just recording me setting up Fightcade with Sprite. And I'm like, oh no, you gotta be shitting me. And it was gone. So it's like, and to complicate things, the I was overwriting the save in the videos that you will eventually see when they come. Is I would always make a new save file, so it'd be like one after another. But I got so anxious to play the game, I was waiting for, I need something to do on Friday because I wasn't feeling VR chat, and so I'm overwriting our old saves, and I did separate it like later on, but it's like by then it was too late, because we got to the laser blast part, which was fun. I love doing the Duke Nukem voice for that. We get to that, and yeah, it's all gone. Like, the footage was just gone because GeForce did not do their research. They did not beta test. I don't know what you want to call it. They didn't figure it out, and it was just like, motherfucker, man. Like, just, yeah. So that kind of killed the start of the weekend, and it got a little frustrating because, again, on top of just the loneliness of my friends going to conventions, and then there's me who's just kind of stuck at home drawing, and then the things didn't work as planned, so you're just kind of like, you're shot. And then, not that the Tumblr post I've been talking about had contributed to it, it was just sort of like, I was in a low point, and I looked out, I'm going to Google my name, it says Aaron Moxing sucks, and then I find that, like, I was like, oh shit, just what I need. It was like, thankfully it didn't say like Aaron Moxing sucked, but it kind of linked to the webcon, and I saw him. After I read it, I was like, okay, it's not bad. It just means, hey, everything's fair game. You're expected to be. They're gonna riff on it. They're gonna hurt you. It's gonna sting, or maybe, I don't know how deep this goes, but yeah, just at any rate, yeah, I'm kind of out of it, but I'm gonna try to. Maybe if I got nothing going on, I'll just go ahead and record my art video on Monday or Sunday or whatever, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just know that you're loved. Just know that you are loved, and people care for you, and I know I do. I'm just kind of. Sometimes I wish I could help myself when I get into these moods, and I think like making this video helped just kind of get it out of my chest. You know, I try to help out. I'm not perfect, I'm very flawed. I have my own bits of temperament and say stupid shit. But it's like, but deep down, I do try to care. I try to look out for everybody on the server, and I own up to my own fuck ups when I'm the fault for it. But yeah, I had to make this just as a means of venting, getting it out of my system. Because if I don't, it's gonna be hard to sleep. And I go through insomnia too. It's like just, but anyway, this is my lament video, my response video, however you want to talk about it. Just sometimes I can't wish I had stuck with the course with the webcomic, but I needed money. I needed money. I had to get to commissions, and I needed finances. I think I hit a point where I was just sort of like, it was hard to promote it. It was really hard to promote it. You know, I have an old screenshot that I was proud of when I was on the webcomic listing, which was like a tracker of your audience, right? I don't want to blame Drunk Duck for this because I remember back in 2013, it was after the award ceremony. They were kind of, or maybe it was before. It might have been before. The they were they were facing the verge of death themselves. The Drunk Duck was almost shut down because people had tampered with the coding on it, so they're on the brink of getting shut down. And I was a strong proponent of trying to get that thing. It was like, hey man, look, we want to see the webcomic awards. We want to get that far. So we fought tooth and nail. They managed to keep the website up, and the awards went through as planned. But there was a hiccup, and this is probably, I think this is sort of what kind of caused my. It was the turning point for me, where it was a bit of a where people had trouble following the webcomic, and I was probably getting tired, and it's like, because it's like once you hit the awards, once you hit that certain peak, how do you maintain that? And that's kind of like, you know, how do you maintain that momentum after the awards? So when I knew the website host was probably on its last legs, it was like, hey, I'm gonna go pack my bags and leave for DeviantArt because I know where that place is and I can put it there. I'm familiar with that website. I know people there, so I'm gonna go put it over there. And well, the webcomic listing had me as listed as 52, like the top 150, right? And then 52 became 200, 200 became 300, 300 became 500. And he's kind of like, oh, okay. Uh, so, because I had to redirect people to DeviantArt. I was just fed up where Drunk Duck was going because it felt like that could have been the end of it. So I wanted to play it safe, and I left. I didn't know what was going to happen, and there were bugs too. I remember there was bugs too where it's like it felt like the place wasn't reminding people about the notifications, and when nobody's reading the notifications, nobody's seeing the comic. And if nobody's reading the comic, you can't read the feedback. It's just like it felt like everything was stacking the deck. Uh, just it felt like problem after problem after problem after. So I was like, okay, well, if I go to DeviantArt, I can track my audience there and just go with that. So we go to DeviantArt, and again, that's where I meet all these people for better or worse. The friends, the people I'd be longtime friends with, artists and people alike. And of course, you meet a lot of weirdos too. I tried to promote it in the Great Mouse Detective fandom. People didn't know how to talk about it. Because it wasn't GMD, it wasn't Disney. It was like it's not going to have Ratigan, it's not going to have Basil, it's not going to have Miss Kitty Mouse. It's just like, this is a story I wanted to make because I had a character that people liked, and I wanted to take that and, you know, and tell my own story, like universe and things like that. But, you know, ultimately it, it worked to some degree. There were people that read it, like there were people that I've met who were reading it. But then you got DeviantArt turned out to be what they did now. They got the eclipse happened, and then the AI thing happened. Well, I mean that was like long after the webcomic had stopped into that point. But then comes eclipse, and then the AI, dealing with white knights and drama, like just people who aren't all there in the head that are following you and this kind of like harassing you. Just it kind of became harder and harder and harder to work on the web comic. You could say it was financially. You could say it was a financial thing, but and it was, but it was just like I think I lost my mojo up until 2016. I started to lose I lost interest because you start to meet you, you meet the best and the worst of people on DeviantArt, and DeviantArt obviously was just not the place to go. Meeting Darcy Sowers and Matt Sowers, the creators of Codename Hunter, that was a big boost in confidence because it's like now people are noticing from the furry crowd that are making webcomic, people that make their own graphic novels and books. Like that's what I want to do. But like Click-Thulu didn't really work. So it's like, it just got harder and harder. The lack of care started to grow. And then by 2016, I left it on a cliffhanger where Patrick is supposedly dead. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's a good time to stop. That was probably for the best. I lost interest and I lost my mojo. I just couldn't. The irony of it being called Keeping Up with Thursday and I couldn't keep up. And now even with the reboot, now I'm kind of I'm facing that problem now. It's called Keep Up, but I can't keep up with my own comic because I'm falling behind and I'm struggling and I can't. My life is a mess. I don't know. Just yeah. I don't know. Just I would like to return to this comic. Fix a lot of the issues that had built from the other one because I've been more than aware of it. Nobody liked the comic book format, so I'm like, okay, we'll drop that. We'll do this. And nobody liked you know, I'll stick to the short panels. You know, Nobody liked the lore dump. So I was like, okay, all right, lore dump, fine, got it. I'll try and keep them individual stories and I'll go that route. Again, when I made this comic, when I got into webcomics, I was thinking of the Marvel DC format. We'd be like, okay, issue one is this. Issue two, let's do a flashback. Let's kind of set up the lore here. We need to distinguish it from Great Mouse Detective, or at least build on something like that, like a little bit of Secret of Nim, a little bit of Zootopia, a little bit of Black Sun, a little bit of Lackadaisy. It's just like that kind of vibe. A little bit of Cats Don't Dance, a little bit of Great Mouse. But it's like I also didn't want to be confined to Disney rules. I didn't want characters to be happy. I didn't want characters to be. I liked that feel a day kind of vibe. And I credit my friend Griffin Conway from my high school years. I'm still talking to on Steam these days. But I've been trying to get him on my gaming group, but he's not into Discord. But I remember having a chat with him when I was doing issue 3. He said, "Hey, if you want to stand out, go and kill one of the characters. Make it grisly, make it stand out." And I'm like, "That's a good idea," because I was dealing, because again, like I was showing this to people, I was trying to hype it up. I'm like, hey, we got some criminal band of misfits here, some criminals, and then they're just kind of like, yeah, well, it still looks like a kid's comic to me. I'm like, okay, well, if you think that way, well, I'm going to do something really fucked up. I'm going to turn some heads to look at you, to get you guys to see me. And so, yeah, it was a cruel thing to kill like a young character in the comic, but it was like, hey, you gotta establish, hey, you're not gonna be reading Disney with this. If anything, you might read some Don Bluethinger because he was known for making some grim, dark stuff in his early, like Secret Nim. People say that movie terrified him, So I want to be like, yeah, let's do that, but let's kick it up a bit. But yeah, just I have a lot. Like I said, I have a lot of fond memories of this web comic, and just I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself. Just having one of those reflection moments where I'm just kind of like, man, what could have been? But I had to make a decision. I could make a webcomic penniless, not make a dime, and it wasn't making. I tried to sell merch. I had somebody try to sell merch. Nobody bought it, or one person did. Thank you for the $5. But it was hard to like. I didn't. There are people that wanted me to promote it on Media Bang. I tried Tumblr. Nobody was checking it out. I tried Twitter. Nobody was checking it out. It was hard. It was a hard sell. It was a really, really hard sell. And, you know, it's always fun to talk about because it's one of those what ifs. It's one of those great mysteries. What if? What if I didn't meet Zach and Kano on GTA back in 2018? Would we even have a GNC server? Would I even have a YouTube channel? No, probably not. I think I probably would have been just at Walmart. Probably been at just Walmart living the normal retail life. Just then put art behind me. It was like, well, that was a fun ride. Not going to do any art anymore. Am I happy where my life turned out? Can't say for sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy-ish. I'm content. It's not perfect. Could be better. But yeah. So, sorry for the depressing video. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video. I'm getting kind of sleepy. Maybe I'll do some gaming on the side and see where that goes from here. It's weird going from one happy video to kind of a depressing one. It's a bit of a 180 turn. But just know that, hey, life is tough. Life deals you a lot of bad things, a lot of bad cards. You just gotta. I'm not saying you should suck it up and take it. I mean, that would be the blunt answer, but you just gotta roll with what you get. If you don't get a royal flush, you're just stuck with it could be cards, it could be Magic the Gathering, it could be Pokemon, it could be whatever cards you get. You gotta take the L's. You gotta take the L's, man. And you gotta, if people are bothering you online, just drop them and leave. if you're stuck with that one person for so long in your life, you gotta learn to cut ties. Not everyone's gonna be your friend, and but for every friend you lose, you'll find somebody else. Whether if it's a friend or a girlfriend or boyfriend or anything really, it's just I had to make this video because I was just feeling kind of down and out. I saw that Tumblr post and I was like, oh shit, here we go. I'm glad that they were honest and fair, but maybe this will introduce some people to my comic. If I was a Tumblr person, I would sign up and be like, hey, I'd love to talk to you about the webcomic, but I don't want to seem like an imposing figure. I'm just kind of like, I'm making this mostly because I'm feeling depressed. But, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you, this is recorded on a Sunday morning. I'll put it up on Tuesday with the VR chat video. The one that worked before they made changes, before G-Force decided to fuck it up. And then the following Tuesday, you'll see the Seth Dragon video stuff, and hope you all do okay. For those of you like my buddies Zach and Dravnus, hope you all had a wonderful time in Ohio. For you guys for all y'all at the Confuzzled, I hope you have a great one, or had a great one. As for me, I got to play Mugen. I got to check out some VR chat worlds. Had a little bit of fun. Pales in comparison to the convention, I'm sure. But anyway, you all have a good night. I'll see you later. Take care, guys. Well, take care, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are non-binary, gender fluid, whatever, just take care of yourselves. Try and get by. Do what you got to do. If you got to survive, just try and survive. The world is tough out there. It sucks, but I just got to endure it. All right. Love all you. See ya.